a part of our campaign. It's my pleasure to introduce my dad and our next magistrate, Brian Macko.
Welcome everybody. We finally got to this point. As most of you know, this has been a long time coming. This started a long time ago, going back beyond 2006. But in 2006, I kind of put the wheels in motion that I was a candidate for this position. At that time, District Justice Ron Swank was holding the position, and I felt I can still be an asset to the community from leaving the police force and joining and coming into the district judge's spot. At that time, it just wasn't the right time, and we discussed things, Ron and myself, and felt it would be better to wait, and here we are. We're at this point, so it feels good to be here. It feels good to be here with everyone. I thank you so much for being here. I welcome you all, and it's great to be surrounded by friends and my family. Most of you know me. As we greeted everybody at the door that's here tonight, everybody's been a great friend. I know everyone, and it's great to see you, but if there's anybody that I didn't get to say hello to yet, I will, I promise. And if there's anybody here that doesn't really know me, I'll kind of give you a little bit of a background. I was born and raised here in Mountaintop. I'm the third child of Andrew and Barbara Macko, who are seated next to me, and I'll try not to get too emotional as I give this speech and I talk about my family, but they're the greatest, they're the best. They taught me everything I needed to know. They brought me up right, taught me how to respect not only myself but other people, and I couldn't ask for anything better. Family, the same. My brother Mark, my sister Karen. As you all know, we call it the family compound. We live on the compound. The whole crew's there. We divided up the old family farm, and we've all stayed here. We couldn't ask for a better community. We wanted to stay here. We wanted to raise our children here. We've done that. We continue to do that, and hopefully we can remain here for generations to come, because it's just a great community, great people. We were a middle-class family, blue collar. My dad worked hard in the factory. My mom worked jobs around the mountain. Many of you remember her from Crestwood Pharmacy, where she spent a lot of time meeting people and treating people the way only my mom can. There's not a day that goes by that I don't get around town and somebody asks me, "How's your mom?" and she's the best, and I know that. I do know that. And again, I'll try not to get too emotional. But again, born and raised here, educated here, Crestwood High School, class of 1987. And I put my time in at Crestwood High School. A lot of great people, a lot of great teachers. If you read my bio on Facebook, I gave 2 shout outs to Mrs. Macko and Mrs. Button. They were my guidance counselors, and I'll never forget it, and that's why I repeat it. I always had the opportunity, you would sit down at the time with your guidance counselor, and they would go over your academics and point you in the right direction and give you some positive choices and things you can do with your life. And both had told me, you're destined for a life of public service. And it stuck with me. It always stuck with me. And I know, again, from my background and my upbringing, my mother always taught me, and my father always taught me, do things for the right reason, help other people, don't look for anything in recognition, and you'll be fine. And that's what public service is all about. So I had the opportunity to graduate from Crestwood, had the opportunity to go to school, get my degree in criminal justice, and knew I wanted to become a police officer. I didn't know I was going to be a police officer here in my hometown. Like everyone else, I see some friendly faces. I see Chris sitting there. He knows the struggles of trying to be a police officer here in our county. You got to put your time in. You got to work a lot of part-time hours. You got to do a lot of things. And I did the same thing. I had 2 years, and I went to other cities. I went to other states, state police applications all over the eastern seaboard and so forth. But the opportunity came up in 1993 to police my own hometown. And I'll tell you what an amazing privilege that became. It really did. I didn't know it at the time, but I took the job. I got hired by the Board of Supervisors then, and I went on a 23-year run, and here we are today. And it's been one of my greatest accomplishments. It's been great to try. It's It's not easy, I'll tell you, to police your own hometown. You may think it is, but it's hard. You've got to make a lot of tough decisions with people that you know, people that you care for. So you try and do those things, and you try and keep that balancing act of keeping people in line, keeping the friendship, and you got to kind of separate the friendship from the law. I mean, you know, you folks pay me to do a job. You pay me to uphold the law, and that's what I do. But I think I've accomplished that in 23 years. I hope I have. I hope I've treated everybody with dignity and respect that I've come in contact with. I try not to treat anybody any different than anyone else, you know, even the most hardened criminal. You know, we all get ourselves in situations, and who am I to tell them, you know, at that particular time? You know, I'll be tough when I have to, and I'll be compassionate when I have to. And I hope I've done that, and I think I've done that over the 23 years. And that's my background. I've come through the police department. I swore an oath to defend the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I think I've upheld them very well. I've never treated anybody unfairly, never violated anyone's rights, anything like that. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in what our forefathers did, and I uphold that strongly. It's very dear to my heart. And that 23 years of experience has provided me with something that most of you know. We all work for a living. We all do our jobs. We all do it very well. You can't learn it in a classroom. You can't learn it in a textbook. I've learned about life. I've learned about people in 23 years. I've always said I've had the ringside seats to the greatest show on earth. People. It's amazing what we'll do to each other, and it's amazing how compassionate we can be towards each other. But I've been right there. I've been with you along the way. I've tried to do my best to keep this community safe, and I hope you all feel the same way. Being a police officer, this is the experience that I think gives me the edge to be your next district justice. Those 23 years of experience of being with you, being with all you, I think I have my pulse, or my finger on the pulse of the community. I hope I do. I mean, I know who's who, what's what, who needs that little kick in the butt, who needs that little bit of help. And again, there's just no substitute for that experience. On a daily basis, police officers are tasked with making, you know, quick decisions that are fair, that are tough, that are impartial. They can be life and death situations. Just a little bit of an example. We're going through a little rough spot, and I'm sure people hear it on the news, and Mountaintop's not immune to this. We're going through a rough spot with the heroin epidemic. It's here in Mountaintop. My last, let's just say last 2 or 3 weeks, the shifts that I've worked, I've come across 5 overdoses from the heroin epidemic here in Mountaintop. 1 young man didn't survive. 4 others we brought back with the use of a Narcan nasal spray, which is an unbelievable drug. So I get the opportunity, and not to boast or brag, but not many people can say I get the opportunity to save a life. And I've done that on several occasions over the last couple weeks. It's a humbling experience. It's humbling to see these people. They're struggling. They have an addiction. They're trying to help themselves. They're trying to fight it, and it just doesn't work. But again, my point being that kind of experience, that's on the street, hands-on experience, can't be taught in textbooks, can't be taught in law books, can't be taught in law schools. You gotta experience it for yourself. So I think that's what sets me apart. I don't have the luxury of you know, legal research. I don't have the luxury of paralegals, Monday morning quarterbacking things like some of the attorneys that'll run for the position, the private sector people. You know, it's just hard for them to understand the curve, the learning curve, coming out of the private sector, running for this position, and having your fingers on the pulse of the community. It's hard for them to understand that. So what I'd like everyone here to, since you're near and dear to me and know me, is just to go back out in the community and let the rest of our friends and family know that you know, this guy's pretty experienced in what he does. He's been working hard for our community for the last 23 years. He means what he says. He does what he does because he cares for us, he cares for the community, and that's what sets him apart. That's what makes him the best possible candidate for us to be our next judge, to continue protecting us, protecting our communities. those family values that my parents established for us. You all know, I don't have to repeat it again. They're there. They're just instilled in me. It's instinct. It's what I know. It's what I do. My respect for my fellow citizen. I don't look for things in return. I never have. I'm one of the quietest guys you'll ever want to meet, and I don't ask for a lot. But I find myself tonight being humble and asking all you folks for your vote, for your support, and getting out there and letting the rest of the community know what Brian Macko is all about. So on behalf of myself, on behalf of my family, I thank you for coming tonight. It means, you don't know how much it means. It means a lot. I'm in awe at how many people showed up so early, so often, and we'll continue, the flow of people. I'll get around to see everyone. If I miss you, I apologize, but we'll see you along the way here somewhere. I'll be out and about. Please take our yard signs and get that word out for me. I'd love to be your next magistrate. I will work hard for you, I promise that, and allow me to continue to protect not only my family, but your family. It's what I do. Thank you.